Hello, my name is Leora. I'm the foster coordinator here at Carson City, Nevada Humane Society, and I wanted to do a little video to kind of show you a little bit of kitten care, and we will start with how to feed them, how to help them go to the bathroom, and then caring for them after you're done feeding. And we also want to tell you a little bit about if they're a little stubborn with the bottle and just some tips and tricks. So first thing I'll show you how to do is blend our milk replacement with some water, and the milk replacement, the bottles, those are things that we supply to you as a foster. So we'll start out with our milk replacement. It's just a little powder, and the ratio is going to be 1 part powder to 2 parts water. So whatever measurement you're using, we'll just do 1 to 2. So this is a blender bottle, and these are super great for making milk replacement. It gets all the clumps out, and you don't have to worry about sitting there and stirring it for a long time. All right, so we're gonna do 2 milk replacement, and then I have warm water here, and it shouldn't be too warm. It should just be a little warmer than room temperature. So we're doing 4 scoops of this. There we go. All right, and make sure the top is snapped. I'll tell you how important that is. All right, and it doesn't take much with a blender bottle, so it's super easy. And then the last thing I have is a nursing bottle that has measurements on the side. That's going to be super important because you want to keep track of how much your babies are eating, and then that way you know they're getting adequate nutrition. So you can always use a funnel if you have trouble getting it into the bottle. And as far as milk replacement goes, the powder itself does not need to be refrigerated, but once you make it, you should go ahead and refrigerate it, and it's good for up to 24 hours in the shaker bottle. There we go. All right, and then we'll just go ahead and put on the top with our miracle nipple. Okay, and then we're all ready to go and feed our babies. All right, so this is Yoplay. She's gonna help us with a little demonstration today. Yoplay is about 3 weeks old, so she is still bottle feeding. She won't be ready to start eating anything else for another couple of weeks. So first what I like to do is weigh them. It's really important to keep track of their weight and make sure that they're growing correctly. Weight loss is a really important first sign that something may not be all right with them and that you should seek medical care. So definitely keep track of their weights. So we're gonna see how big Miss Yoplay is today. Oh my goodness, you already gained weight. So she's about 13 ounces. So what you wanna do to measure how much she should eat is you multiply how much they weigh times 8. So we'll just round it down to 12 because I'm bad at math. So 12 times 8 is 96. And then we divide it by how many times a day they eat. So these guys eat about every 4 hours. So we'll divide 96 by 6, which is gonna be, we're gonna pretend it's 15. So yeah, the formula. So the first thing that we wanna do is go potty. And it is, I usually potty before they eat just so they have some extra room. A lot of people will kind of feed potty. It really depends what works for you. As long as they get everything out before they eat, that helps. So you can use tissues, you can use toilet paper. I like to use a washcloth just because it's really absorbent. So all we're doing is just rubbing on her genitals very gently. You don't have to have really great aim, just kind of rubbing in the general area is gonna get her going. And I kind of hope she poops so we can show you poop. A lot of times they just relax because it just feels really good. Kittens this age cannot go to the bathroom on their own, so it is really important that you stimulate. Mama cats will stimulate them until they're going to the bathroom by themselves. Oh, we got poop, yay! You guys are so lucky you get to see kitten poop. It's great. And you can tell. And there we go. All right, so now we have our bottle with our markings. Kittens always need to be fed on their stomachs. You should never feed a kitten on their back. What can happen is they can aspirate, which means they'll breathe liquid into their lungs, and that can be very dangerous for a kitten. Cats in general will cough so they can't get the fluid out of their lungs. And that can lead to pneumonia, which is very life-threatening in kittens. So as they get older, they might like to get in funny positions while they eat. Yoplait in particular likes to stand. So all we're doing is just sliding it in their mouth. When you first get new kittens, they may not really take to the nipple or to the milk replacement, especially if they're used to mama's milk. The milk replacement tastes very different. And Yoplait is teething, so she kind of likes to chew on it a little bit. So we're going to try just tipping so she kind of gets a little milk and realizes that it's food time. And don't be afraid to just detach and try again. It's all about persistence with kittens. And when they're new, it might take a few days for them to get used to it, but they certainly will in the long run. Oh my goodness, you're being so picky today. And again, you can always take them back and reposition if you need to. And sometimes just petting them and loving on them while you're trying to get them to eat makes a difference. Because remember, you're trying to emulate a mama cat, and mama cats will groom their babies while they're eating. There we go. Ooh, almost. Getting there. Try again. Keep going. And if you do notice that you're having a hard time getting kittens to eat, try feeding like smaller amounts more often. And a lot of times that can make a difference. If they're just have a really full belly for a long time, they might be more willing to eat if they're eating a little bit less in between. All right, I'm gonna try again. So I usually will just support the head with the hand just to try to aim the bottle into the mouth. Oh, almost. You're doing it for a minute there. And you would never want to squeeze the bottle because that can make liquid come out way too fast for them, and again, they can aspirate. The Miracle nipples are great because they have the hole already cut, and you don't have to worry about getting a good size for their tiny little mouths. Come on. Again, persistence is key. If they're already used to the bottle, it definitely makes it easier. And then again, she's teething, so it's a little more difficult to get her going. You can't chew on it. That's not going to work. I always feel bad for mama cats when kittens get to this age, because I'm like, oh, if you guys are chewing on mama, that must be so painful. Work with me. And sometimes you just have to, again, reset and reposition and get the milk off their face. All right, come on. And sometimes finding the position that they prefer can help too. Well, we almost were doing it. Almost were doing it. So what we'll do right now is actually give her a break, and we'll come back to her after we feed her sister. Sometimes if they get a little taste and just aren't really fond of it or into it, letting them rest a little bit and then going back can help, and we'll see if she latches the second time around. So this is Giovanni. This is Yoplait's sister. So we already went potty, so we're gonna go ahead and get a good weight on her. Maybe. My goodness. So she's 13.4 ounces, so she's definitely really chonking up. Generally for vaccines, we want to wait till they're over a pound or until they have some decent teeth coming in, which I will show you Miss Chobani's little teeth that are starting to grow in. She's not a fan, but we'll show you. So you can see we have some little premolars starting to grow, and then her little front teeth starting. So these guys, like I said, are going to start on getting weaned within a week or two when they have a few more teeth. So, all right, so Miss Giovanni hopefully will be a little more cooperative with us. She usually eats a lot, as you can tell from her weight. And like I said, they all like to have different positions. Giovanni likes to help hold the bottle, so we let her. I think they're all being grumps today. Let's try. Let's try again. Come on. Oh, Oh my goodness. You gonna try standing? No? Okay. We'll get right back in here. Come here. Sometimes they want to be held close while they eat, so if you do have a lot of trouble, you can always try snuggling them. Sometimes just being warm and close can make a difference. And then sometimes they're just really picky. We'll do a little mouth clean. So another thing you can try if they are really having a lot of trouble latching is they may be a little gassy. So as I'm sure you know, gas can take up some room in the stomach. So they may not think they're hungry just because they have a lot of gas going on. That's why it's super important to burp after they eat. But you can always try it before too, just in case there's still some left. So much noise. Okay, ready to try again? Try again. And she's eating, but she's not quite properly latched yet. Still not quite there. There we go. Kind of. Try again. And you can hear the sounds too, to make sure they are actually eating. So again, we'll just keep trying. Here, you want to try again? Okay, so it's great. Okay, do you see what this is? And again, kittens like to be in all different positions, so just go with what's comfortable for them as long as they are upright and on their bellies, not on their backs. And she's not quite properly latched yet. You'll be able to tell by the sounds and the motion. Another thing too is the motion of their ears will tell you that they're latched properly. The muscles in the mouth are directly connected. So when you see that little kitten ear wiggle, you'll know for sure that they're latched properly and eating. And for her too, sometimes the teeth, if they're just really painful, it can just make it not very comfortable to eat. So she actually did pretty well. A full bottle, this one's a little old, so I don't have the good measurements, is about 65. And she's done probably about 30. So for them, that's still almost double what she should be eating. So even though she didn't latch properly, she got a lot of intake, which is fantastic. So I'm not too worried about letting her relax and rest until her next feeding. So what I'll end up doing is putting a Snuggle Safe in with her. This is a microwavable disc that lasts for about 8 hours heat-wise. It's a really, really great product. And a lot of times you'll see them sleeping on it or just kind of cuddling with half of it. And it is super important to make sure that they have a constant heat source because kittens cannot regulate their own body heat. So the last thing to do after they eat is super important, and we want to make sure that we get all the air out of their stomach by burping them. So you can put them on your shoulder and burp them like a baby, but these guys are like really tiny, so it's maybe not the best idea. What I do is just put them flat on the ground. I put my fingers underneath their belly and hold onto their paws, and then I just rub my thumbs on the side of their belly, and I find that that actually works really, really well. And it helps get them used to belly rubs, which can be really beneficial to their future adopters. Everybody likes to rub a really cute little kitten belly, right? So we'll just see if we get any gas out. With older kittens too, even if you don't hear anything right away, when they run around, a lot of times that'll get the air out too. But especially with the littles, it's super important to do that because if they do have a lot of air in their stomach, they may not feel hungry the next time you go to feed them, and obviously then they're losing nutrition. So I don't know if we'll get anything right now, but we'll try it. So again, just the fingers under the belly and the thumbs doing the rubbing on the sides of the belly. And then after a kitten eats, and just in general for a healthy kitten, they should have a nice kind of pear-shaped belly, but they shouldn't be hard or look really bloated. If they do look really hard, they could be constipated, which again is very dangerous for a kitten. If they look bloated, you may not be burping them enough, or you may be overfeeding them, which can also lead to diarrhea and again dehydration. So some stuff to look out for. Yoplait is in really good shape. She's got a nice kind of squishy belly, but she still has a really great pear-shaped physique. So that's what we want to look for. And then she is starting to walk around and be really adventurous. And yeah, you can see that she's very, very healthy and just very snuggly and very good shape for a kitten.